can I speak to Dr. Thomas's assistant, Ella, please? Could you have her call me? It's Sam McCall. No, I don't need to speak to Dr. Thomas. Can you just have her call me as soon as she gets this message? Okay. Is Michael okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Doesn't sound like it.
Michael thinks he's fine. Sonny and Carly want to believe it.
You don't?
Michael says he remembers seeing Rachel Adair kill AJ.
What? Just like that after all these
I mean,
months?
it's a lie, right? It's gotta be. And the only one who can convince Michael is
Dr. Thomas. And the only way he would do that is if he killed AJ and killed and framed Rachel.
Maybe it doesn't even matter, Sam.
What, Jason?
AJ deserved to die for what he did to Michael. And Rachel Adair tried to frame Courtney and blackmail her.
And what, she deserved to die just like that? Dr. Thomas is allowed to walk away?
I don't give a damn about Dr. Thomas or Rachel Adair. The only one I care about in all this is Michael. I mean, you should have seen him at Sonny's. He was happy. He hasn't smiled that way since before the kidnappings. I mean, this kid has been through hell and he thinks it's finally over. And what am I supposed to do? Just start it all again? For what?
To protect him,
There's
Jason.
other ways to protect him. Dr. Thomas could disappear. He could have a traffic accident.
And the truth is supposed to stay locked up inside of Michael. Is that what you want? I am trying to reach Dr. Thomas's assistant. Jason, it is a long shot, but if AJ called Dr. Thomas the night he died, then maybe she picked up the message.
It's worth a try.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just want to run through, everything, how it happened, make sure we're not missing anything, okay? 10 years ago, AJ drives into a tree. I'm brain damaged, lying on a hospital bed, comatose. Dr. Thomas is called in to treat me. Now, it's possible that AJ had contact with Dr. Thomas then, but we can't be sure, okay? Last April, AJ's in the hospital with a broken back. He's facing kidnapping charges. He's going to try and plead insanity. He needs a psychiatrist to back him up.
So he calls Dr. Thomas.
But we don't have any proof that AJ actually spoke to Dr. Thomas.
Okay, Jason, let's just say that he did, okay? AJ wanted his insanity plea. Dr. Thomas refused to give it to him. AJ blackmailed him.
With what?
With whatever happened with your accident 10 years ago.
That's a huge assumption.
Okay, let's just say that it's true. Jason, everything else fits. Dr. Thomas killed AJ to shut him up. Michael witnessed it.
Okay, the only problem is Michael remembers being in AJ's room. He remembers seeing Carly. Why is Dr. Thomas the only piece that's missing?
Because Michael probably feels guilty for seeing and witnessing his biological father being murdered. It's not his fault.
None of this is Michael's fault. I mean, this kid has spent his whole life paying for other people's mistakes, including mine.
Where did that come from, Jason? You have done nothing but love and protect.
I told the first lie of Michael's life. I said Michael was my son. He loved me. He didn't know not to. We had spent 1 year together and I was gone. He didn't understand why. He just thought I disappeared. I'm tired of failing Michael, okay? I promised him that this would be over. It has to be over, Sam. No more lies. No more confusion. I gotta find out what happened the night AJ died so I can tell Michael and he can let it go instead of carrying it for the rest of his life until it finally destroys him like the accident destroyed AJ.
The patient's brother, AJ Quartermain, is on the phone. He says it's important and he'll only speak with you.
Okay.
Hey, what just happened?
I remembered something. There's a connection with AJ and Dr. Thomas. I was lying in ICU, and I heard a nurse say that AJ wanted to see Dr. Thomas. Now, if there is a connection with Dr. Thomas and AJ, how far do you think he'll go to protect that secret?
Wake up and remember Dr. Adair killed AJ, not me.
You know, I'm flattered. But if you can't keep away from my office, which I'd really prefer, I'd appreciate it if you'd knock before you enter.
I'm retracing the final hours of Rachel Adair's life. When did you last see her?
I barely knew the woman.
You knew she was dead.
Yes, and it's tragic.
And convenient, considering the fact that Rachel told me she saw you coming out of AJ's room the night he died, and I confronted you about it. So Rachel gets away with murder. And kills herself and decides to leave a confession. Less than 24 hours later, Michael, who's been traumatized for months, suddenly realizes that Rachel killed AJ. And you know, it all fits. It's almost as if somebody planned the whole thing that way.
Come in.
Dr. Thomas and Detective Beaudry, this is Officer Spencer. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Rachel Adair.
Why are you sitting there in the dark?
Well, I was wondering what you were doing out on the terrace.
I was just taking a walk in Mother's rose garden.
At night?
Well, it's very beautiful in the moonlight, and it makes me feel close to her.
You know, it's funny, Alan. All these years, other people have kept us together. Lila, our children. Now,
You're
Jason.
both here.
Sam?
Is Michael all right?
Yeah, he's fine. I need to know about the accident 10 years ago.
What about it?
We need specifics on the treatment of Jason's injury.
Well, we've told you all
I
that.
think you know more. And you've been covering it up.
For 10 years, you refused to talk about the accident or your recovery.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about it now.
You turned your back on our family, and you rejected any effort we made toward having a relationship with you. And now, out of the blue, you want our help?
Stop it, Alan. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, Jason.
Okay, how much involvement did Dr. Thomas have in treating me?
Well, Tony Jones diagnosed you, and he supervised all your treatments. He called in other doctors to consult, including Kevin Collins and Asher Thomas.